everyone, Pam here with Tattered Paper and Lace, and we are on the final 3 days of the ABC April 2025 challenge. So this is Monday the 28th, and today is the letter X, and I am going to do x-rays. Yes, x-rays. How can you do an x-ray, you say? Well, let me show you. I have here an x-ray, as you see before us. But let me tell you how I did it. This sheet came out of an old Britannica, Encyclopedia Britannica, I believe. And I took this because, well, this looks like it is pictures, photographs of x-rays. And I thought, well, if it's an x-ray, then why can't I take, let me find what I'm looking for here. It's right here. We don't have very many left, very many sheets left, but we'll pull one out. Oh, wrong thing, shoot. Hold on. I thought I had it already set up here, and I can't find it again. But I have a transparency that you print on. And from that, we can make, here's the one to print on, I guess. Hold on. Well, anyway, it's a transparency that you can print on with your inkjet printer. Here it is. I put it in the front. Okay. Now we're cooking. That. So you have to forgive the lighting a little bit. I had to move the lights so that they wouldn't reflect on this reflective material. So this is a book. This is a page from Encyclopedia Britannica, old one. I can't even remember, but I'd say probably early 1900s. Old set. I have the whole set. And it had this x-rays, photographs of x-rays. So you take a piece of transparency that you can print on, and the packaging will say that you can print on it. And I've got that right here. Well, I've got a copy of I don't have the actual, it's not a very good copy of the cover, but it says transparency film for, it says Hewlett Packard color inkjet printer. Well, it doesn't have to be a Hewlett Packard, which is an HP. It doesn't have to be that. And it can be any brand. It doesn't have to be a particular brand. The only thing that it needs to say is that it can be printed on with an inkjet printer, and it will have a strip of sticky tape at the top. And this is just for the carrier to carry it through smoothly. But when you do that and you print it out on the proper side, and the proper side, one side is a little bit rough, the other side is smooth, like you would expect a transparency to be, or acetate. So you take that and put it in your printer, and then you print. So you got to make sure you put the film in your printer correctly so that it will be printing on the rougher side of this transparency. And then you will get a negative, literally a negative. Now, I've only used this technique once. And I had made a journal that was like, I imagined like from an 1800s, we'll say, yeah, physician. But, you know, I don't know. We'll just say it's supposed to have been like a journal from an 1800s physician of different things that he would discover in his medicinal practices. And so in that journal, I did this for a friend. And in that journal, I thought it would be cool to make, I'm going to put this on a piece of white paper here. I thought it would be cool to make these negatives to go in the journal. So I had a book about x-rays and when they came to be and, you know, all the perils of x-ray at the time, yada, yada. And so then these x-rays came into existence from photographs of x-rays, and I thought it was really cool. So I would use these again in another journal if I decided to make another journal like that was, you know, a quote unquote a medical journal. Then I would use these in that, but I also would use these in a Halloween journal. And you may think of other ways to use it, but I just thought it was kind of cool. And well, today was X. And X-ray was the only thing I could think of. So I thought, why not? You might not have thought to do this. But then I took each one of these and cut them apart. As you saw, I did the black marker around it so that it would look like it was a single x-ray. And that is my little x-ray. Let me bring it in, let you see it. Wait, let me bring it back out and push it down. That might do better. There you go. So that's my x-ray. And so I don't know what this one is because I took the page out of the book. And I don't know what that one is. Looks like it might be the liver or the stomach or something, but this is a knee, a foot, a hand. And then this is from the x-ray book that I have, which I have misplaced since. I hadn't been able to find it since I made this copy. Or made, actually, this copy. I made a copy of, because this is a pelvic x-ray, which would work too, but it was bigger and I didn't want one that big. So I made a copy of the top of that page with this foot in a shoe, in a boot that was from 1884, that was in the book that I had about x-ray. Like I said, I haven't been able to locate that book again. It's somewhere in this room. But anyway, so that's what I used to make this. And I just thought this was kind of cool with the foot. You can see the bones inside the shoe. All these nails that's in the heel of the shoe. Interesting. Anyway, so that's what I wanted to show you. But then I thought further, because this is something you would not use very often. If you don't do Halloween, you probably wouldn't do this. But you might do a medical journal, quote unquote medical journal. And in which case you could use these x-rays. So I thought, well, I wonder if you could just do a black and white sketch. And so I have these sketches that I did on watercolor paper. So we'll move that aside. And they look like this. Let me show you what the original. So this is this. So this is watercolor paper, and I coffee dyed it. And this is what it looks like. So it has the shadowing, which kind of gives you the illusion of a negative. And so I have two of those. I only have two that I coffee dyed, and this one is this one. So I made a copy of these. And then the others are just like this, not coffee dyed. So I made I made this copy of those images. Let me bring in a little bit. I made those copies of those images, and these two are the ones that were coffee dyed. And then I thought, well, let's see how that looks. So I put that on my printer and printed out this, which turned out pretty cool. I think these really, let me turn it right side up. Those two I did upside down. These really do look a little bit like a negative. This looks a little bit like a negative, but I thought these were cool nonetheless, because, you know, they would make a great window in an envelope or something like that. But the whole point was that you can copy something. And then I thought, well, and I didn't do it because I only have like 2 or 3 sheets left of this. So I need to get some more in and try it. But I thought about putting a pressed flower in black and white and printing it on this printable transparency. And if that would that look like, because the light would show through, the light coming across the bottom of the printer would show through, maybe would show somewhat through the petals of a light colored pressed flower, like a white flower. When I press my flowers, the white ones turn out creamy. And I wonder if the light would shine through and give it kind of a skeletal, what to do with it? Here it is. Kind of would show through like this is, maybe. I don't know. But like I said, I hadn't tried that. But I did think this was kind of cool. I like the ones that are coffee dyed, done like this. Better than these. But these are still usable, and I will use them. But I thought that was a cool little idea, that if you hadn't thought about using printed transparencies and skeletal x-rays, or any kind of x-ray, you could find some images of x-rays online somewhere, and try this, you know, with some sort of image that you would be most likely to use in a journal, or, you know, in a make that you do. But I like to take it and then go around the outside with a marker, black marker, so that it looks more like it was an individual x-ray. So that is my X for x-ray for the ABC 2025, ABC April 2025. Use that hashtag to see what others are doing for X. So thank you for coming along. If you've just joined me, welcome. If you've been here before, welcome back. And I hope that if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, that you will. And if you like this video, hit the like button. And I hope to see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.